All right, here we go. Hello, everybody. Conman here. We're going to talk about some Heroes of the Storm patch notes. We had a hotfix today. Today is the 20th of December. There was a hotfix that came through. Still haven't played ranked yet. Also, apologies, hadn't had the chance to do the Hanzo video that I would like to get done. Tried to do it last night. Screwed up my audio. Apparently halfway through my audio took a shit. So if you're seeing this right now, this means that I fixed my problems and we're good to go. And that will be forthcoming. But today is to talk about these here patch notes. This was the Hot Balance patch. Came out on the 20th of December. Let's take a look. There are a couple of changes, some very interesting ones. First off, bright orange text alongside this patch. We've also manually corrected rankings and matchmaking ratings for a small number of Hero and Team League players. So if you've been playing Heroes this long, paying attention to it, I'm sure you're aware of the sheer cluster. We'll just say cluster. The sheer cluster that ranked Hero in Team League has been thus far this season. There were all kinds of problems that I'm not going to get into right now. Hopefully, after this, they're fixed. I'm not going to get into the post. Basically, they just manually corrected people who were above or below a full rank or a full league / 5 ranks. So if you were Gold 1, say last season, and you got above or below, above Plat 1 or below Silver 1, they manually corrected you to kind of put you back where you probably should be. Now, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to give it another couple of days to see how the reports come in before I go and hop into ranked this season. But anyway, let's get on with the actual patch. So, first off, Hanzo, small buff, nothing big. Dragon Strike, damage increased from 58 to 64. I think that's fine. Dragon Strike is at least in my opinion, the inferior of his two ults. Dragon Arrow is just way better. It's easier to hit. It gives you some initiation. It gives you the stun is super good. It's an AoE stun if everyone's grouped up. Dragon Strike is just, I think, too difficult and too slow to fire off to really make a big difference. You really just have to get the team unaware, get them caught in a wombo or something like that. I do think Dragon Strike is way better, or rather Dragon Arrow is way better. So the buff to Dragon Strike is fine with me. Just give it some extra damage, some incentive to take it a little bit more than the other ult. Nova got some nerfs. Health reduced just slightly. Regen obviously reduced accordingly. Her snipe damage was reduced and lethal decoy damage was reduced. I think all of these are fine. Since the stealth rework, she has by far and large been the strongest hero. Basically above, hovering around 60% win rate, 59 and change, 58 and change. At least in quick match, she's been up there in Hero League. She's been great. I think the stealth changes actually benefited her quite nicely, as a matter of fact. I think Nova's always had an advantage when it come to other stealth heroes for the sole fact that she attacks from range. Valera has to get up in your grill in order to attack you. Zeratul has to get up melee range. Samaro has to get up on you. Nova always had the advantage with her Hollow Decoy, and now with Ghost Protocol baseline, she's very, very slippery, able to get away from people. So the damage reduction, I'm fine with it. Give it, the health reduction is okay as well. Just give her a little bit, have her be punished just slightly more when she is caught out of position or something like that. So that's fine. Hopefully this, takes down her numbers just a little bit. A little bit of a buff for Thrall, basic attack damage, bit of an increase. And then at 13, Spell Shield cooldown reduction granted by Frostwolf, resilience increased from 8 to 10 seconds. I'm fine with that. I think he's in a good spot overall, so I think these buffs maybe a little underpowered slightly, so I'm okay with these buffs. Interesting Nazebo changes here. So we got a little bit of buffs to Corpse Spiders, damage increased slightly, Ravenous Spirit increased just a bit, and the health on Gargantuan reduced. Okay, that's about right. I think the Corpse Spider build took a hit, so giving it a little bit of bump is fine. Level 4 Hexed Crawlers, the health and mana return up from 3/4 of a point to 1% of a full your max health and mana. Here's the interesting one here, is Vile Infection, pardon me. His trait at level 20, the damage bonus reduced from 200% to 150%. So I know Nazebo's always been a late game hero, and this was the main reason why. If you can get your 175 stacks, you really just went to town on heroes with this. So I'm curious that there's no dev notes behind this. I want to know what their thinking is, if they really thought he was just too oppressive in the late game because of this. So we'll see if they add some dev notes in the future. But Keep this in mind for Nazeebo people. Late game, you're going to be a bit tick weaker than you were late game than you were previously. Alexstrasza, my favorite. She's my homegirl. Coming up here, Lifebinder gets a buff. Cleansing Flame gets a nerf. I think it makes sense. Cleansing Flame just way better than Lifebinder. Not only does it's an AoE, you know, you get to heal people, you get to do damage, but you also get to save yourself. Like if you're under fire, you can use Cleansing Flame and just be like, nope, get the fuck out of dodge. Give your team some time, you know, to kind of get back in there, and it gives you the opportunity to not only nope out of there, but you can nope out of there damn near like a global place, you know, global pace. Pardon me, I'm talking too fast. And kind of get there. So I'm fine with both of these. They don't destroy Cleansing Flame. They do take the damage off a little bit. The cooldown is a thing. I think the main part of Cleansing Flame was to heal in the first place, so I think that's fine. Interesting nerf here to Draconic Discipline at 16. Reduces the Dragon Queen bonus duration from 9 to 7 seconds. I still think she's very strong. She'd actually gotten back up to about 50% overall since her entry. I think people figured out how to play with her and play as her. I still think she's really strong. Even with these changes, it doesn't affect her main build, at least the build that I'm using, too much. So, you know, no, nothing crazy there. I think it's fine. Maybe a little bit more incentive to take Lifebinder. Moving on to Brightwing. Polymorph. Cooldown reduced. That's fine. Maybe we'll get some more play from Brightwing. I'm not quite sure how this will change things. Gives you a little extra hard CC with Brightwing though, so that could be useful in a pinch. Get to I got like a motorcycle driving by my outside window. Apologies. Get to shut down some ults and other threats that are coming your way. Lily got buffs pretty much across the board. I'm very curious about this. Let's go through them. So Cloud Serpent, health restored per attack increased by 5 up to 20. Her Wind Serpent duration was increased. Let's see here. Cooldown reduction granted per hero 3 to 4 seconds. The duration increased from 0.5 to 0.6 seconds. Safety Sprint duration increased 2 to 3. So all of these are buffs here. Range increased from 4 to 6. Gale Force bonus damage increased from 50 to 75%. I'm actually surprised about this slightly. Lily was hovering around 51% across all leagues in Hero League, which is kind of where you want someone to be. So I think this is, look out for Lily. She might be the new sleeper meta pick. We'll see how it goes. Lucio, slight reduction to his amp it up baseline. That's his baseline heal, not even one of the traits, or excuse me, one of the talents. This is straight up across the board. So Lucio nerf. Stukov, one good spread, mana cost reduced. Interesting that's all they changed. They didn't change the damage or anything like this, or the health or anything you got going on. Just one baseline mana cost. So we'll see how it goes. Artanis, Chrono Surge, attack speed bonus increased 50 to 75%. Templar Zeal got a buff, and then Phase Bulwark got a buff as well. Again, Artanis I thought was in a good place. He's kind of hovering there. All of these, I'll say this, so far, all of these have been very incremental buffs or nerfs. Nothing too outlandish. I'm surprised there's not more of them, honestly, compared to what I would have thought, considering we just had massive changes with the balance patch for the 2018 gameplay update, but maybe everyone was too occupied with what the hell was going on with the matchmaking. So I expect more balance changes coming soon. Here's one that I think will fly under the radar if people aren't paying attention. For D.Va, basic attack damage in mech form increased from 21 to 24. Doesn't seem like a lot, but this actually, if my memory serves, is more damage than D.Va had baseline when she was released. So that's actually a pretty significant buff to her going to be in mech form. I don't know what her numbers are. I think her numbers are down just because she lacks a lot of hard CC, but this could kind of help to bring her back. Here is the one. We're going to go into Garrosh. Here's the one that everyone is talking about. I believe he's the last one on the list. So here we go. So his health got increased by 90 points, and his regen accordingly. But here's the kicker here, Groundbreaker. Groundbreaker no longer pulls enemy heroes to Garrosh. Instead, what it does, it will knock enemies up in the air. It will stun them for 0.75 seconds, and then slow them by 30% for 2 seconds. So let's just talk about this for a minute. So what this means, Garrosh no longer has the combo where he pulls you in and then flips you over into the enemy team or up over the the towers and into the walls or anything like that. So now, in order for him to do his combo, he's going to hit Groundbreaker. It's going to flip you up in the flip you straight up in the air. It's going to stun you, and then he needs to walk forwards in order to flip you over. So big change to Garrosh. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this is going to kill him. I mean, I think it's a pretty significant nerf. Really, Garrosh was all about making the picks. Like, somebody makes a mistake, gets too close, Garrosh pulls you in, flips you over, and that's a pick. And suddenly, there's a guy down, especially in late game, turns it into a 4-on-5. It is very impressive to play against. It's going to change things a lot. Not only is it going to cause him to actually put himself at risk, so rather than bringing the hero toward him, he now needs to walk forward, potentially into danger. Even though he's pretty beefy, with the health and with the armor and whatnot of itself, but it does force him to walk potentially into danger in order to get the flip. It gives the enemy player opportunities to get away, because even though they're stunned, maybe they get a cleanse, they can walk away, they won't be slowed anymore, maybe something will come out and help them, maybe they can get a stun from their team, as Garrosh walks forward. Not only that, in the middle of like a minion wave, so you're not only, as Garrosh, you're not going to be able to pull that hero out of the minion wave and then flip them over. So you actually have to stun that guy, then you have to walk into the minion wave, which is going to make it a little bit more difficult. It's going to give you more static to deal with when you're trying to do that flip and get that combo off. So that's going to be a big challenge to the Garrosh players. They're going to have to adjust to it. I think it takes him away from like first ban material. We'll see how people react. The stun baseline is still pretty strong, don't get me wrong, and they did change the cooldown of Wrecking Ball kind of to account for it as well. So his cooldown got reduced from 16 to 14 seconds, and the mana cost accordingly. And then his mortal combo at 16 got changed, got a little bit of a nerf to make it easier to kind of fire off. Let's look at the dev comments here. While he is well balanced with regard to his win rate, which is true, Garrosh has widely been considered more punishing than other warriors compared to the amount of counterplay he offers, which is exactly right. Really, Garrosh kind of has this no-go zone that, he just zones people out by being Garrosh. If you, there was always a fear that if you went too close to him, he would just pull you in and flip you over, and that would be a pick, and there really wasn't much that you could do. While we love his playstyle and the epic moments he can create, we wanted to reduce the amount of frustration he can cause opponents. We've added a window of time between being hit by Groundbreaker and being thrown into the enemy team, which should help players have more opportunity to outplay him. We're also looking at other heroes who are lacking in counterplay or overly frustrating to play against, and are planning to make similar changes to them in the future. So here's the key here. They didn't like the flip. They didn't like how powerful that pick potential was. Also, they're looking on changing that against other heroes. So we'll see what comes down the pipe coming off soon enough. I don't know. I mean, Reddit is blowing up about this change with Garrosh. They think they just basically kills him. I'm not sure yet. I'm really not sure yet. I do think it definitely lowers him significantly. Like, he doesn't have any wave clear. He has very limited wave clear. Garrosh, he does have high survivability. Garrosh was all about peel. Was all about the peel and the creating picks. Now with the 2-second reduction on Wrecking Ball, maybe the peel's a little bit better. If somebody's up in your team's grill, maybe you can chuck them out of there or chuck them further into danger. We'll see how it goes. But big Garrosh change does definitely going to shake things up a little bit. Probably Garrosh is probably no longer first ban material warranted. That's the main stuff. No more changes in terms of balance. A couple of changes. You guys who use Quick Cast got some fixes that I'm sure will be welcome relief to all of you. And then just a couple of bug fixes, but I don't think there's anything crazy here. Phase Shift can now be correctly cast on the entirety of an Allied Heroes minimap. Hanzo fix, another Hanzo fix, and then Butcher fix an issue preventing the Butcher from using consumable items on Volskaya Foundry, which if you're a Butcher player, that's going to be good news to you. So anyway, I'm curious. Two things here. I'm curious to see how this changes Garrosh. I'm actually, let's take a look right now. I'm wondering what his win rate is right now. We're gonna go through. That's not what I wanted. I want hot logs. There we go. I click a good. I know how to use the internet. So here we go. Quick match. Let's switch over to Hero League. Garrosh, 48%. So he's at 48% right now across. with an 80, here's the thing right here, 89.6 popularity, which means he is either picked or banned in almost 90% of Hero League games. And I think that's what they're talking about. That might be the highest. Oh yeah, that is the highest by far and by large. So it's an interesting, that's an interesting line to cross with this, or an interesting line to go with this. Rather than change his other numbers, rather than lower his health or increase his mana cost or change the cooldown, they decided to change the functionality of Groundbreaker in order to account for this. So here's what I think this is going to do. This is going to drop his popularity number significantly. It probably will also have an adverse effect in his win percentage. It will drop his win percentage back down. And then ultimately, what will ultimately happen is Blizzard is going to have to relook at this and then give him some improvements in other areas to compensate for the fact that he no longer has, which is really what his game-changing ability was that pick potential. Maybe some additional health, maybe some additional damage numbers, something like that to account for it. I don't know about his win percentage. I do expect his popularity to drop down sharply following this change. We can check back in about 7 days or so and kind of see how this works. Anyhow, that's all for now. We'll get a Hanzo video soon. We'll talk about some other stuff. I'm a little stuffy right now, as you might be able to hear, so sorry about that. Anyway, Conman here. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Tell you what, let me know what you think about the Garrosh change. I'm keeping an open mind for now. I do think it's going to be a big hit to him. That's really going to change his playstyle out, and there's definitely going to be a period of adjustment for anyone who has been maining him or playing him a lot, or even playing against him. You're definitely going to be much more likely to engage or feel safer to engage around him. He's not going to have quite as big of a no-go zone going forward. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with me or not, or do you think it's going to just completely make him useless and irrelevant in ranked play? That's Conman here. Thanks for watching. This has been some Heroes of the Storm patch notes. Hope to talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.